Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Speak Up. I'm Ryan, and I'm here with my co-host, Priya. If you've ever struggled with procrastination, today's episode is just for you. Do you ever find yourself pushing tasks to tomorrow and then repeating the same cycle the next day? You know what needs to be done, but somehow you keep delaying it. Today, we're going to uncover why you keep procrastinating, the hidden psychological reasons behind it, and most importantly, the step-by-step methods to finally break free from it. By the end of this episode, you'll have clear, actionable strategies to stop procrastination and start achieving your goals, whether in work, studies, or personal growth. So, let's talk first about why this happens in the first place. Procrastination isn't just about being lazy. It's something much deeper, and we all experience it at some level. But once you understand what's really happening in your brain, it becomes much easier to overcome.
And I'm Priya. Welcome to the podcast. Here, we help you develop better habits, improve your productivity, and most importantly, take action in your daily life. That's exactly what we're discussing today. Why do we procrastinate, and how do we stop? Procrastination is more than just putting things off. It's a habit, a pattern that keeps repeating unless we break it. And the reason we keep delaying things isn't always obvious. Sometimes we do it because we feel overwhelmed, other times because we fear failure, and often because our brain seeks short-term comfort over long-term success. The good news? You're not alone in this, and there are real science-backed methods to fix it. Today, we'll be discussing techniques like the 2-minute rule, the Pomodoro technique, and practical strategies to help you take action, stay consistent, and stop falling into the procrastination trap. If you've ever struggled with staying focused or getting things done, this episode is going to change how you approach productivity forever.
You have a deadline. You know it's important. But instead of starting, you're scrolling through your phone, watching random videos, or suddenly feeling the urge to clean your entire room. Sound familiar? Why do we keep procrastinating, even when we know it's bad for us? The strangest part? You're fully aware that delaying things will only make them worse, yet you can't seem to stop. This cycle of procrastination keeps repeating, and before you know it, deadlines are missed, goals remain unachieved, and frustration builds up. But what if I told you that procrastination isn't just about poor time management? There's actually a deeper psychological reason behind it, one that most people don't even realize. And today we're going to break this habit once and for all.
That's so true, Ryan. Procrastination isn't just a bad habit. It's a pattern deeply wired into how our brain works. And it's not just about being lazy or unmotivated. Sometimes we procrastinate because of fear of failure. Other times because the task seems overwhelming, and often because we just don't know where to start. Our brain seeks instant gratification. It wants what feels good right now, even if it hurts us later. That's why instead of working, we end up binge-watching YouTube, scrolling social media, or even doing completely unrelated things like organizing our desk. The good news? There are science-backed techniques that can rewire your brain to take action instead of delaying things. And in today's episode, we're going to break it all down. Why you procrastinate, how to stop, and simple strategies that will help you take control of your time and finally get things done.
Let's first talk about why we procrastinate in the first place. Most people think procrastination is just laziness. But what if I told you that's not true at all? Procrastination isn't about being lazy. It's about mental resistance. Your brain is actually working against you. It's wired to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort. So when you're faced with something that feels difficult, whether it's studying, practicing English, or even sending an important email, your brain pushes you towards something easier. That's why instead of improving your skills, you might find yourself endlessly scrolling social media or watching random videos. You know you should be practicing English conversation, working on your English pronunciation, or fixing your grammar mistakes. But something inside holds you back. And here's where it gets tricky. Your brain rewards you for avoiding the hard task. Every time you delay something, you feel a little relief, and that relief comes from a chemical called dopamine. And guess what? That dopamine makes you want to keep avoiding things.
That's such an important point, Ryan. And this is exactly how procrastination turns into a dangerous habit. The more we delay, the harder it becomes to start. Have you ever told yourself, "I'll do it later," and then later turns into never? That's because your brain is tricking you. It's the same reason people struggle with overcoming the fear of speaking English. They keep waiting for the perfect moment to start. But that moment never comes. And when you keep delaying things, your confidence drops. You start thinking, "I'm not good at this," or "What if I fail?" And that fear stops you from even trying. The same thing happens when people translate English in their head instead of speaking naturally. The more they hesitate, the harder it becomes. But here's the good news. Once you understand this pattern, you can break it. And in this episode, we're going to show you exactly how to do that.
Now let's take a deeper look at what's really going on in your brain. Think about something you've been delaying. Maybe it's learning a new skill, applying for a job, or even starting a daily English conversation practice. Why haven't you started? Is it because you don't have time? Or is it because you feel overwhelmed? The truth is, procrastination happens when your brain views the task as either too difficult or too uncertain. And here's a crazy fact. Studies show that once you start a task, even for just a few minutes, your brain actually wants to keep going. This is called the Zeigarnik effect. Once we begin something, we feel the need to finish it. So, the hardest part isn't doing the work, it's starting it.
Exactly. And that's why small steps matter so much. If you're learning English, for example, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Instead of thinking, "I need to study for 2 hours," tell yourself, "I'll practice for just 5 minutes." This small shift can change everything. It's the same strategy that helps people fix English grammar mistakes. Instead of stressing over everything, just focus on improving one small mistake at a time. That's how real progress happens.
Now let's talk about why we actually procrastinate. Most of us blame lack of time or motivation, but the real reasons are deeper. There are 3 major causes of procrastination that keep us stuck in a cycle of delay. And once you understand these, you can take control. The first big cause? Fear of failure. Think about it. How many times have you delayed something just because you were scared you wouldn't do it well? Whether it's applying for a job, speaking in public, or even learning English, the fear of making mistakes stops us from even trying. People who are afraid of making common English mistakes often avoid speaking altogether. They don't realize that mistakes are a natural part of learning. Instead of seeing errors as failure, you should see them as progress. The only real failure is not trying at all.
That's so true. And that brings us to the second biggest cause, perfectionism. A lot of people think they need to be perfect before they even start. This is especially common with learning English. Many learners believe they must have perfect grammar and pronunciation before speaking. But here's the truth. If you wait for perfection, you'll never start. That's why tools like English Grammar Made Easy exist, to help you learn step by step. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be better than yesterday. Imagine if a baby waited until they could walk perfectly before taking their first step. They'd never learn to walk. The same applies to learning a language, improving your writing, or developing any new skill. Waiting for the perfect moment is just another way of procrastinating.
Exactly. And that brings us to the third biggest cause, lack of clear goals. When you don't have a specific goal, you don't know where to start. Let's say you want to improve your English writing skills. If your goal is just, "I want to write better," that's too vague. Your brain doesn't know what steps to take. But if you say, "I'll write one short paragraph every day," suddenly it's clear and achievable. Vague plans lead to delays, but specific goals create action. This applies to everything, not just writing, but speaking, studying, or even personal growth. When you set small, clear goals, your brain feels a sense of achievement, and that pushes you to keep going.
Absolutely. And let's make this practical. If you want to improve English writing skills, don't just say, "I need to write better." Instead, break it into steps. Maybe today you focus on avoiding common English mistakes like incorrect verb tense. Tomorrow you work on sentence structure. And the next day, you try using new vocabulary. Small, clear goals remove the fear and pressure, making progress easier.
Now let's dive into the consequences of procrastination. We all know it feels good to push things off, but there's a big danger in leaving everything for the last minute. When you're constantly doing things at the last minute, it creates unnecessary stress and lowers the quality of your work. Think about it. How many times have you rushed through an assignment, a presentation, or even a language lesson just to meet a deadline? In the rush, you miss out on real progress. You don't get a chance to master English tenses or to really practice real-life English conversations because you're just scrambling to get things done. The result? You might meet the deadline, but the quality and impact of your work suffer. It's like running on a treadmill, busy but not really getting anywhere.
Exactly, Ryan. And it's not just the last-minute work. It's the chronic procrastination that really damages your success. Whether it's your career, studies, or personal growth, procrastination affects everything. If you delay learning important skills like English for professionals or even practicing for job interviews, it'll hold you back. Procrastination eats away at your confidence. You'll think, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be fluent. And that self-doubt leads to missed opportunities. You can't expect to grow in your career if you're avoiding tasks that will help you improve your communication skills, like practicing real-life English conversations or expanding your vocabulary. When you delay these tasks, you lose the chance to move forward.
That's so true, Priya. And here's the worst part. Chronic procrastination leads to mental exhaustion. When you keep putting things off, you don't just feel stressed in the moment. You're constantly carrying around the weight of unfinished tasks. It's like a constant mental load. Think about how drained you feel after a long day of putting things off, knowing you still have a lot left to do. The energy you should be putting toward productive tasks is drained by this constant cycle of procrastination. This mental exhaustion affects your productivity, your creativity, and your ability to focus on important things, like learning new things or advancing your career.
Exactly. And the mental exhaustion also means you're less likely to make progress in anything. Whether it's practicing English for professionals or improving your fluency, procrastination stops you from taking action. The more you delay, the more your self-doubt grows. The good news is, once you break free from procrastination, you'll have more energy and mental space to focus on the things that really matter. So in the next section, we'll explore how you can stop procrastinating and start taking real positive steps toward your success.
Now, let's talk about a simple but powerful technique that can help you beat procrastination instantly, the 2-minute rule. The idea is simple. Whenever you're feeling stuck, just commit to working on any task for just 2 minutes. Sounds easy, right? You might think, how can 2 minutes make a difference? But the magic is in getting started. Once you take that first step, you'll often find that you naturally continue. It's like with language practice. Sometimes, the hardest part is just opening your textbook or starting a quick English conversation practice alone. The moment you begin, your brain shifts gears and you're ready to keep going. It's that initial action that breaks the cycle of procrastination. Whether you're working on your writing, improving your fluency, or even studying for a test, 2 minutes is all it takes to get the ball rolling.
Exactly. The 2-minute rule isn't just a productivity hack. It's also a way to train your brain to take action faster. You see, when we procrastinate, we tend to overthink the task, making it seem bigger and scarier than it really is. But once you start, even if it's just for 2 minutes, your brain begins to see the task as less overwhelming. For example, if you're struggling with the shadowing technique for fluency, you might feel hesitant at first to repeat after a native speaker. But committing to just 2 minutes of practice helps you ease into it. And before you know it, you're practicing for longer, building fluency and confidence along the way. It's the perfect way to trick your brain into action without the pressure of doing everything all at once.
That's the beauty of this rule. It allows you to start small, but over time, those small actions add up to big results. Imagine if you committed to just 2 minutes of English conversation practice alone every day. At first, it might seem insignificant, but after a week, that's 14 minutes of focused practice. In a month, that's over an hour of speaking practice. The same goes for improving your pronunciation, vocabulary, or grammar skills. The idea is that small actions compound over time, and before you know it, you'll be seeing real progress. The key is to just get started, and the momentum will follow.
Absolutely. And this method is incredibly effective for improving your language skills as well. If you struggle with speaking English confidently, you can apply the 2-minute rule by committing to speaking for just 2 minutes every day. Whether it's speaking to yourself in front of the mirror or practicing with a friend, it doesn't matter how small the session is. The point is to start. Over time, you'll notice your fear of speaking starts to fade away. And even better, you'll build the habit of speaking daily. 2 minutes is just the beginning, but it leads to huge improvements in your fluency and confidence in English. So, how do you start today? Let's move to the next section, where we'll show you how to apply this in your daily life.
Now, let's talk about one of the most effective ways to beat procrastination, the Pomodoro technique. This technique is based on working in short, focused bursts, usually 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. Sounds simple, right? But it's incredibly effective. The key here is that by working in short bursts, your brain stays focused and avoids the distractions that lead to procrastination. If you're working on your English skills, this could mean dedicating 25 minutes to focusing on improving your fluency or improving English vocabulary. The Pomodoro technique helps you stay engaged without feeling overwhelmed, and those small breaks help keep you refreshed so you can go back to work with renewed energy.
Exactly, Ryan. One of the reasons the Pomodoro technique works so well is because it prevents you from feeling like you're staring at an endless task. It breaks big projects down into smaller, manageable chunks. Whether it's practicing English pronunciation or reading through grammar rules, working for just 25 minutes makes the task seem less daunting. Plus, when you know there's a short break coming up, your brain is more motivated to stay focused. If you're using one of the best apps to learn English, for example, setting a timer for 25 minutes can help you stay disciplined and get through more material in less time. The key is consistency. If you make this a daily habit, you'll see how quickly it helps you improve your English skills.
And let's not forget the power of those breaks. After working for 25 minutes, you get a 5-minute breather. This isn't just a chance to check your phone, it's a real opportunity to rest and reset. If you're learning English, it could be the perfect time to listen to a short podcast or review a couple of flashcards. These short breaks help prevent burnout, and when you return to your task, you're more focused and productive. The Pomodoro technique is all about avoiding mental fatigue, and trust me, it works. It's especially helpful when you're working on improving English fluency because you're training your brain to stay sharp without overloading it.
That's right, Ryan. And here's the best part. This method isn't just for language learners. It's for anyone looking to be more productive. Whether you're studying for exams, working on personal projects, or using apps to learn English, the Pomodoro technique helps keep procrastination at bay. The trick is to start small, commit to 25 minutes, and then gradually extend the time as you become more comfortable. It's all about creating a routine that keeps you moving forward. So, if you want to speed up your learning process, this could be the fastest way to learn English by making your study sessions more focused and manageable.
Let's talk about something crucial: how to reprogram your mindset to stop procrastinating and start taking action. This isn't about waiting for the right moment or feeling motivated. It's about developing self-discipline. The truth is, motivation comes and goes, but discipline is something you can train. When you focus on your goals and take consistent action, you build momentum. For instance, if you want to speak English without hesitation, it's not about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about making English practice a daily habit. The more you practice regularly, the more confident you'll become and the less likely you are to procrastinate. So, start small. Commit to a 10-minute practice every day and you'll see how your discipline grows.
Exactly, Ryan. And to really understand native English speakers, you need to train yourself to take action even when it doesn't feel easy. Visualization can play a huge role here. When you picture yourself achieving your goals, whether it's mastering English or completing a big project, your brain starts to believe it's possible. The key is to visualize success and then take real steps toward it. You don't have to feel motivated every day. Just commit to your goal, no matter how small the task seems. This mindset shift helps you push through procrastination and move toward your success, whether that's learning English at home or improving your career skills.
Right, Priya. And here's something that really works. Think about how self-discipline trumps motivation. If you rely on motivation, you're setting yourself up for failure. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes based on your mood. But self-discipline is about doing things, even when you don't feel like it. When you learn English at home, it's easy to put off your study sessions because you don't have someone breathing down your neck. But if you build the discipline to stick to your schedule, you'll start making progress consistently. So, stop waiting for the right moment or the right mood. Discipline is about deciding to take action, no matter what.
Exactly. Building discipline also means learning to embrace discomfort. Starting a task, especially one like speaking English without hesitation, might feel uncomfortable at first. But it's this discomfort that leads to growth. The more you face that discomfort, the more confident you'll become in your abilities. Whether it's learning to understand native English speakers or practicing speaking every day, it's all about pushing through those initial challenges. So, don't wait for motivation to strike. Just start. Trust me, over time, your discipline will make a huge difference in how quickly you reach your goals.
All right, let's wrap this up with a practical action plan that you can start using today to stop procrastinating. We'll break it down into 4 simple steps. First, start by writing down one small task that you've been avoiding. It could be something simple like learning a new word for your English vocabulary builder or reviewing a grammar rule. By writing it down, you make it more tangible. Once you have that task, don't overthink it. Just do it. And here's the secret. Apply the 2-minute rule. Commit to spending just 2 minutes on that task. Once you begin, you'll be surprised at how easy it is to keep going.
Exactly, Ryan. Once you've gotten started, the next step is to keep going. Now, you can apply the Pomodoro technique to stay focused. Work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. This method is great for tasks like memorizing English words or mastering new English tenses. It keeps your mind sharp, and by breaking things into smaller sessions, it's easier to stay consistent. But here's the key. Consistency is everything. Every time you complete a 25-minute session, track your progress, whether it's ticking off a checklist or marking off time spent on your task. This will help you stay motivated.
Consistency really is the game changer. You don't need to be perfect, just show up and keep working. And remember, don't get overwhelmed. Small steps add up to big results over time. If you're learning English, this might look like dedicating 25 minutes to reviewing your vocabulary, applying the shadowing technique for fluency, or practicing your speaking. The more consistent you are, the faster you'll build that momentum. So, whether it's an English vocabulary builder app or listening to real-life English conversations, the point is to take consistent action and track those wins to stay motivated.
Exactly, Ryan. And if you stay consistent, you'll start to see real progress. It's all about forming that habit. So, next time you feel the urge to procrastinate, just take one small action. Apply the 2-minute rule, then use the Pomodoro technique to stay focused. And most importantly, track your progress to see how far you've come. Before you know it, those small daily efforts will lead to mastering big tasks, whether that's improving your English fluency or tackling personal goals. Just start now, and let your consistency lead the way.
All right, to wrap it up, overcoming procrastination doesn't happen overnight, but with the right strategies, you can break the cycle. Start small, use the 2-minute rule, apply the Pomodoro technique, and stay consistent. The key is to take action, even when you don't feel motivated. Over time, this will lead to real progress in whatever goals you're pursuing, whether it's mastering English or achieving personal growth.
Exactly, Ryan. Remember, procrastination is just a habit, and habits can be changed with consistent effort. So, apply these simple steps today, track your progress, and you'll start seeing results soon. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Thanks for tuning in and keep moving forward, one small step at a time.